Hello, welcome back to episode 3 of Project Crit. I am your Dungeon Master, Joseph, as always, and with me are our wonderful UTA students and players. Go and say hi.
Hi.
Hello. We are picking up right where we left off at the end of episode 2. In episode 2, you saw the party kind of fight their way through the gnarly forest, and at some point come across this abandoned farmstead where there was something waiting for them. After having fled the scene, though not without some injuries and scrapes to their names, they have come out of the gnarly forest, or at least gotten close to getting out of the gnarly forest, though worse for wear. We did see Kai get all the way to Blight level 3, and for context for you all, there are only 6 levels. So not very great, but with some help from your allies, you were back down to Blight level 2, which can I actually get a Blight check for the team here?
Blight check.
Like roll it or how much we have?
No, I'm saying like, what are you at? Cool.
Natalia is at a Blight level 1.
1.
2.
2.
0.
We already said what
2.
I was. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So, with all that said, you guys are in your carriage, having driven away from the scene of the farmstead where you all were caught up. After getting through most of the gnarly forest, the air around you is starting to feel at least a little bit clearer, though the trees that are nearby that kind of wrap with these veins around their trunks are still looming in the distance. But there is this sign of light that kind of shines through the different parts of the treetops that indicate that you're close to the end. As you guys are moving and having some time to breathe after coming away from this skirmish, what is the group doing as they're moving?
Arya is just kind of once again following along the cart. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, if somebody catches her eye, especially one of the people who healed her, she'll like bow her head and be like, thank you. She is clearly not used to this kind of treatment. She's just like, I'm going to keep on keeping on.
Yep. And then I believe Natalia is driving the carriage at the moment.
She is. So she is driving the carriage. She's starting to feel very fatigued, though, from this level of blight. And just like quite a bit overwhelmed from that experience. She's been around blight, but never quite like that. And that has kind of shaken her a little bit. And she's starting to kind of wonder just what she got herself into.
As you guys are rolling along, the wooden wheels of the carriage kind of bouncing against the sand beneath you, kind of kicking it up, you guys did collect a little bit in various vials that you had either brought with you or that you kind of were able to make using your artifice. You guys will not have time to look over it just yet, or actually on a short rest you may have some time to examine them, but you won't really be able to take a good hard look and really study it until you get to a point of a long rest or some kind of extended duration where you have to study it. What are Pygmaeus and Valdove doing in the back of the cart as you guys exit or are trying to exit the gnarly forest? Both you seem very harrowed.
Valdove has, through her highly illegal research, seen the very advanced stages of blight, including bodies that she has bought pieces from off of Arya that were at stages like level 4 or beyond, where they start to become obvious at 3, and it becomes very obvious beyond that. Those are the non-recoverable stages.
Yeah.
And so she was very shaken to see it get close to that point to someone that had done so well keeping them alive. She also feels really bad for fireballing him on accident. And
that was the most purposeful fireball I've ever seen.
Sorry.
You acknowledged, apologized, and then did it.
Yeah.
I warned you. She's perusing her spellbook. She isn't going to switch anything out right now, and she's a little nervous to cast anything again because of the wild magic.
You do currently have the Feywild Shard, which is modifying your connection to the weave.
Yes. But she is... she's just hanging out, and I think she sees Arya walking alongside and like bowing when she catches her eye, and she's gonna look at her and be like, "You know, you were, well, a literally big help out there."
I lived yourself.
That's a little okay. I just want to say thank you because we appreciate it. I mean, you kept us alive and you helped us get the hell out of there.
I'm glad. I'm glad that everyone got out.
Well,
Alive.
I think her job would have been a lot easier should you not have casted a fireball on your own teammates.
No, it is all right. I can take it.
I can't.
I'm
What he
real
said.
sorry about that. I was, it's the heat of the moment. I was nervous. I was actually trying to aim as far away from the two of you as I could while also hitting both of them.
I'm pretty sure I saw
didn't
him
work out
in the
that
exact center of that radius. I'm not sure you were really trying that hard.
I'm gonna shove a mage hand down your throat, Pygmaeus.
You know, I think we should head back home, given how difficult
I think-
it seems our work is cut out for us. Maybe we should go and ask for more money.
I think we already found that this sand is doing something, so we're clearly on the right, path, literally.
And also, we are probably too far ahead in order to head back at this point. We are almost out of the gnarly forest, if you can't tell.
I will add for both Pygmaeus and Valdove, this is the most you guys have interacted with active blight, and you've already started to make discoveries that you guys have never previously made, or at least made observations that previously were not possible for you to, considering the fact that the Academy would not sanction trips this far away.
Yeah, Valdov has also been excitedly writing down notes in her journal.
Right, speaking of which, Kai, as I understand it, you had contracted a level 3 blight curse.
There are levels to this blight?
Oh yeah, we've got catalog levels up to 6. Anything,
So I was halfway.
no, I'll say that. Anything beyond 4, magic can't even help you.
I was halfway there.
Yeah, that's why I cast the spell on you and healed you, and if we need it, I can make some good berries, and that won't help with the curse, but it'll fill us up for a day.
Safe to say you were almost fucked.
I think I was.
Yeah, here's what I've seen works, and here's what I've lived works. Take every time that you're not actively moving to rest. I mean, you're also valuable to the team, so we need you well rested anyway, but if you rest, you're going to help get rid of the blight. I don't actually know why, but it's something to do with connecting to the spirit of it or something. That when you center yourself, it seems to not like that. So that's going to try and, as Pygmaeus has so politely put it,
Don't bring me into this. I didn't know any of what you were
it's
saying right
going to
now.
fuck your shit up.
Oh, you are going to get your fucked.
Speaking of rest, you all do manage to get a short rest in as you're driving the carriage. So any hit die you like to recover, I believe some of you may have already done that, or any abilities that you recover on a short rest, you can go and get those. Now, I will say, Kai, as you are resting during this kind of extended period of the drive, you don't feel the blight go down by any means, but you do feel at least more centered, as Valdo was saying. You don't feel quite so impacted by it. It is gone from being this thing that you're feeling like the tips of your fingers at the edges of your vision to kind of being this thing that's faded into the background, ever present, but no longer kind of taking up room in your consciousness. So you get a short rest, or everyone here gets a short rest as you guys are driving. Can I actually get an animal handling check from Natalia as you guys are moving?
This is going to be at disadvantage, correct?
Can I not guidance, but since I can speak to animals, can I just be like, yo, my guy, can you just go that way?
Well, she's already made the check, so I think we have to deal with the consequences of it first.
Fuck, you're right.
I will say, yeah, you may have a chance to roll after the fact and help as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's a 5.
Oh,
Negative
So if you would like to make an animal handling
you
check
will.
as well, Pygmaeus.
with disadvantage, it seems. Or
So what
I would
kind
say
of...
advantage because you can speak
Yeah.
directly to them in a language that they can at least kind of understand. So it cancels out to be a neutral roll.
so it's neutral, not
Neutral, correct.
So kind of what happens is Natalia is kind of listening to the conversation happening in the back about everything. She's trying to put it together in her head, but she's also just got this epic brain fog happening from this fatigue, and she kind of stops paying attention to the horses in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pygmaeus whispers to the horse, "Yo, And as Pygmaeus is whispering to him, he remembers slang from the horse tribe that he has met. But it seems like it's been a while, and he accidentally insulted him.
What'd you get on the roll?
A 10.
A 10's not too bad.
Oh, really?
I will say, as Natalia is kind of trying to control the horses, but her mind wanders, it's less so that the carriage that crashes or anything, more so you start to veer ever so slightly off path. Now, as you're talking to the horses, you manage to keep them calm. They were kind of getting a little bit rowdy, especially after all the action that just happened a little bit ago. But you managed to at least calm them down. The insult, clearly you see one of the horses like kind of looking a little disapproving in your direction, but nothing that actually becomes a problem. However, you do not prevent the horses from going off path, as they are at least trying their best to control the cart. Yes.
So Arya would definitely notice being pushed off the path, considering she is walking next to the carriage, right? Okay, she's gonna make her way to the front.
So as you were doing so, and it's a very slow drift, so you don't even necessarily notice at first until you realize the carriage is kind of slowly getting a little bit further away from you. At some point, you start feeling more bumps in the road, like something, your wheels are kind of like going against rocks or stones, and you kind of look over, and this is the moment where you start walking up to the front, and you realize that what you're driving over are not like potholes in the ground or anything, but instead these veins of blight there have tried to get close to the path, and your wheels are kind of like running over them. At some point, as this is happening, a vein of blight kind of wraps around the wheel very quickly and pulls at it to the point where you feel one of the wheels kind of get knocked loose by the blight before you can like quickly drive the carriage back to the path in a moment of pure, not hesitation, what is the word? Pure reaction, where you yank it the other way. The horses are suddenly pulled back towards you, Arya. So you're walking up. You have to kind of move out of the way as you get back on the path and stop for a second and realize that while your wheel's not broken, it is now kind of wobbling and loose as one of the spokes was kind of broken clean by the blighted vein. You do have materials in the carriage to fix it should you be able to, but that is more of a skill check than anything at this point.
Natalia would kind of just, she's so kind of done right now. She just wants to lay down. She's gonna hop off the seat and go look at the wheel. I assume she looks at it and she's like, this is a little.
Yeah, you see the broken spoke. You see that there is some damage to the wheel and it's kind of like wobbling a bit now, maybe a bit thrown off of its axle. You could still drive on it, but you can't guarantee that it will hold the whole trip if you do not repair it.
Can I cast mending on it?
So the spoke that was broken, like a piece of it was broken off, so you need to get a replacement component.
Oh, okay, so it's just
which
gone.
you guys do have some spare material in the back of the carriage should you need to.
Right, okay.
DM, does Druidcraft fix it?
Druidcraft could not fix this. This is a mending problem, but the issue is that you just need to grab the materials.
Yeah, we need a new wood thing to attach.
Not necessarily, but your carriage came with a little bit of repair material. Not very much, but just enough to fix
Engage with
small
the
problems like
mechanics.
this.
Natalia would poke her head in the back and say, did we receive parts with the carriage to fix potential problems with?
Yeah, of course. I paid for that.
You should, yes.
Great.
You kind of look nearby you, and there's a small box there that has various extra pieces of wood that can just be used to like patch up holes. You see a little bit of extra rope, and then next to it, kind of lying behind the box, is an extra wheel, though it is not the greatest one. It's the equivalent of a spare tire. It's not meant to take you everywhere you want to go. It's meant to get you to the next city so you can get this thing repaired.
Gotcha. I think.
Right, well, there's a little thingy parts broken off of the wheel part, and I think you were gonna have to replace it before I could maybe mend it, but also like I don't know how to change wheels. Okay.
You hear
telepathically, I'm
What are
going
you,
to call my
City rich kid?
bird, and I'll ask him,
Says the
obviously,
other
could
city
you
rich
go up
kid.
to the rear and tell me what's wrong with it?
You hear Goosey in your head kind of reply back like, yeah, sure, I'll go check on it. The bird of paradise flies out from the carriage and kind of goes to the side where the wheel is broken. And you see it just kind of lands nearby, brings its wing to its, like the bottom of its head and kind of goes, As it is looking at it, it telepathically in your head, you hear, one of the spokes is broken clean. It's got the top part and the bottom part, but the middle was completely ripped away. We're either going to entirely replace the spoke or otherwise get some repair material to fill the gap.
Do we have any spoke inside the...
You don't have a
place?
spare spoke, but you have spare wood that could be used with the mending
Gotcha. Okay.
to repair it if it was cut to the proper size.
Gotcha. Okay. I think Kai is gonna go. So I've been told that I'm supposed to rest, and then he tries to like lay down, but can't because it's a carriage and he's not fully fitting. So there's this weird airplane attempt to sleep. I can't, and then he is going to like tell the bird to come over, grab whatever wooden material is available, and then fly back to it, and then. It'll depend. He'll try to tell you how to do it with the mending spell, but after a while, if you weren't able to, he'll just cast mendings through Pak Gusti to fix it.
So I think
If it's set up, Natalia could just go pop. But if you try to explain to her how to put the parts together, she's not gonna know. She's
Goosey,
not that type of girl.
Goosey is able to kind of fly down there, and in its kind of talons hold the piece of wood kind of right where it needs to be, barely perched onto like what is left of the spoke, and you just see the bird's wings like pointing around where the break is, essentially trying to signify like here. So you go and cast mending. It does take just a few minutes to kind of get both sections of it fused together. It's not the perfect hold. It is definitely weaker than a like fully intact spoke, but it will get you where you need to go without problems. The carriage could have already made it, but this at least helps guarantee that it won't collapse on you in the middle of a drive. So,
Right. Well, that's that problem taken care of.
Natalia,
Yes.
would you like to rest in the back of the carriage?
Yes, please.
Of course.
You can.
I can
You
take
could
care of
probably
this.
just lead the horses if you don't want to. If you want to keep walking.
I know how to guide the carriage.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Thank you, Aria. Thank you.
Of course.
So I will
get
ask,
some rest.
do you sit in the driver's seat to drive the carriage?
Yeah, she probably puts her halberd in like the back,
Yeah.
and then sits in the
I
driver's seat.
think to make room, Valdiv's is gonna be like, "Hey, you want me to come up there and join you? It's getting cramped back here."
You're more than welcome to.
And she's gonna hop up there.
So you
Start
two,
working on her journals.
you two both sit in like the kind of front bench in front of the carriage. You scribbling your journal, you taking the reins as both you kind of get into the back of the carriage and start driving off. There will not be an animal handling check needed right now, as you guys have just made one, but you continue to drive off in the direction that the paths are leading. The rest of your journeying out of the gnarly forest, what is left of it at least, is mostly uneventful. Now, the blight is still surrounding you to the point where you guys feel like choked in and cramped by it. It is in every direction possible that you can see, especially with the trees. It is on your sides, it is above you, it is everywhere. But the path ahead of you has cleared at least some kind of area where you guys can feel a relative degree of assurance that you won't immediately be attacked or blighted. As you guys are moving, you have time to think over everything that happened when you guys were at the farmstead and think about all the various interactions you guys had with the blight. And at least for Pygmaeus and Valdove, you guys are starting to kind of piece together that while, yes, much of your research is very correct, there are some things that you've yet to see from the blight that were there, or ways in which it acted that didn't fully make sense to you at the time. Especially after hearing from Kai about his, very brief new senses, you're not exactly sure what the blight was acting for in that circumstance. You guys travel a little bit further, finally exit the gnarly forest after just another hour or two. This section of it is, completely destroyed. Pygmaeus, you've seen much of the gnarly forest before, and you know that this area that you guys are passing in through as you guys get out is what used to essentially be a small watering hole, like a little mini oasis here, that many residents of the gnarly forest would go to for water, to clean clothes. For many animals, it was their primary source of hydration. But now, as you pass by what used to be a kind of spring of life, you instead see an empty, hollowed out area where trees have kind of curled away and down. Sections of the forest have been pulled back by the blight, and the area where the water itself used to be is nothing more than a dry kind of ditch with a clump of these blighted veins in the middle of it that kind of stretch outwards in every direction. It is nothing left of what you used to know, or at least nothing that you knew at the time.
In Pygmaeus' thoughts, as you say that, as the carriage is kind of driving by, he finds himself kind of lingering on what he's seeing and kind of trying to wrap his mind around how something can change in such a short amount of time.
Just a decade or two.
Yeah. He understands the magnitude of this blight. To him, this forest was a home and a place of solace, and to see it so devoid of life and joy and comfort, it kind of wears on him a lot.
Yeah.
He might not be as whimsical, so to speak, for a little bit.
As you were looking out in this direction, a gust of wind kind of passes over all of you that helps provide at least a little bit of fresh air from beyond the gnarly forest, but also kind of ruffles your clothes. It kind of tips your fez for a second before you kind of grab and readjust it. Your fur is kind of blown gently in it. A nice little reminder that there is a cleaner world beyond the gnarly forest, or at least something of one. When you finally do exit and the sun is finally back in the sky above you, it is much lower than it was when you all entered. You guys spent a good few hours inside the gnarly forest, to the point where you guys entered just around noon or a little after, and now the sun is, well, not setting, getting lower in the sky. You guys can start to see that within a few hours it will be dark, or at least dusk. You don't have to stop for a rest now, but you guys know that if you want to continue on through the night, you can reduce how much time it takes you all, reduce the amount of time that you guys spend out in the blight, but someone will have to drive. Alternatively, you guys can stop for a long rest somewhere along your way, though not with the safety of Elred to protect you. So, continuing on for a little bit, you guys get out in the early forest and start to see off in the distance, beyond what looks like these kind of rolling light hills with tall grass covering them, another remnant of what might have been a civilization. You guys see, but this time it is much larger. You guys can start seeing like the tips of a watchtower, the beginnings of a tall building somewhere off there, but right now it's still just faintly on the horizon. Around you, with no trees to feed on, the blight is simply going to kind of move outward in every direction on the ground. At this point, you can start seeing that the veins without a tree trunk are much thicker, getting to the point where they're a few inches across, kind of stretching over the ground with smaller pieces splitting off from the main tendrils. Now that they have nowhere to travel vertically, they are traveling outwards at every direction at a much faster pace than you guys are seeing in the forest. In the forest, it was crawling at a snail's pace, barely noticeable unless you're really paying attention. Here, you can see it moving just out of the corner of your eye at all times, fast enough to be noticeable even when you're not paying attention, but not so fast that it's blinding you with speed. What do you all do as the sun is starting to go down in the distance and you guys can see a little bit of a civilization up ahead, but the path kind of cuts off in the opposite direction?
I think there's some XP in that town to be made.
The town on the horizon, does it look occupied or does it look abandoned?
Give me a perception check. I would give you disadvantage because it's so far, but you already have disadvantage. So you guys are trying to view it from quite a distance away, and without spyglass or some kind of telescope, it's pretty hard to see. But
Oh, okay.
Remember what
Perception.
happened last time we were in a populated place?
Oh my
That was
gosh,
a farmstead.
guys.
yeah, it was a
Anyone got a
farm
cow?
stand.
Wouldn't go to an abandoned
A cow?
Cow?
A cow?
What are you trying to do?
Slang for calculator?
Oh, you knew that? I didn't know you knew that.
Oh no.
I didn't think anyone else knew
No,
that.
it's just
slang.
I can't do math, guys.
Me neither. It's okay.
4
It's a 23.
plus 4. Oh my god. No,
That's a
very
19 and
wrong.
a 15.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So with a 23 on perception, even despite the distance, and even despite the fatigue you're feeling, you can make out, now that you guys are getting a little bit closer and you guys continue to drive, not quite a completely like rubble, or like not completely a town that has turned to rubble, but one that is very decrepit at this point. You see most buildings are crumbled in or collapsed. Roofs are laid on their side nearby the actual houses. What are left of the buildings have blighted veins that run over them, sections of the curse that have consumed their stone and wood. The buildings that are left standing tall, like the watchtower that you guys saw from a distance, or what looks like it may have been some kind of church to one of the gods, is only held up by the blight that kind of has propped it there, using itself almost like a support structure to keep what was left of the building there. You don't notice any movement, you don't notice anything there, just the rubble of what was. You guys continue to get closer, but the path does cut in the opposite direction. So to go to that town, you guys would have to veer pretty far from the sand.
Now, Kai, I'm sure you remember what happened last time we were in a town, however it was a farmstead. Perhaps you could send your little avian friend over there and scout ahead.
Natalia would poke her head out and look over at the little townstead. Well, it seems like there's not activity and most of the buildings look blighted.
We didn't think there was activity last time. Also, I'd like to say that when Natalia sticks her head out, Faldev was speaking and shuts up real quick because she was talking to Arya about, like, thank you for your discretion. My research partner does not know about the research I've been doing. Thanks for pretending like you don't know me. I will continue to do the same for you.
Yes, well, I would like to avoid company like the last, so I would say that we should stick to the sand.
That was going to be my suggestion. Blight don't stop in the night. Don't ask me how I know that. It's not afraid of the dark. We should be.
I think I will send the bird to like just scout around it and fly back immediately. Okay. Not to do any deep research, just to see and give like a more of a survey.
Like a flyover.
Yeah.
Can I get a perception check from your bird and then a navigator's check from you?
Sure.
So you have two homunculuses.
I do.
He has one homunculus and one battlesmith.
Steel
droid.
defender.
Steel defender is what it's called.
Is the mule?
That's the mule.
That's
yes.
the mule, yeah.
What's the mule's name?
Also Gusti. It's the, well, I guess it's a...
They both have the same name.
It's a character thing. That is 15 for the mule. I mean, for the bird.
Okay, on the perception.
God damn my disadvantage. That is a... 10.
A 10? Not bad. With a 15 on the perception check, Gusti kind of flies over the area, looking not necessarily in depth at everything that they see, but instead kind of looking at the open buildings, looking at the collapsed rubble, trying to spot anything that is moving, anything that looks like it could move. Now, it's hard to tell, especially considering that the last time you guys fought these things at the farmstead, what happened was they didn't rise literally from the ground, but the blight was kind of covering them to a point where they were almost camouflaged.
Yeah.
Here, it's hard to tell. On a 15, you don't think you see anything, but also you can't be completely sure. Gusti does remark, though, that this town looks like it was overtaken by the blight. It's based off of how like thick the veins are, the way the vines have grown over the exteriors and like almost crushed the buildings underneath them. It looks like it has been blighted for at least a decade. Now, you know that many of these cities outside Greyhawk fell long before now, but you didn't necessarily know exactly how long because you spent much of that time at sea. So,
Gotcha.
with the navigator's check, though, even with a 10, you get the basic information that you would just know from being a traveler, that based off of where the sun is and based off of where you guys are and the way the path is cutting, you think that you'll actually end up close to Safeton, which is a little bit further southeast. Now, Safeton is a port town. You know Safeton much better than you know any other city here.
Yeah.
the path looks like it is heading that way, and you think you might be able to make it before you hit sundown, but you're not 100% sure.
Gotcha. I think Kai will relay whatever information he discovered to the rest of the group in almost mumbly tone, because it's like his eyes are closed and everything, and so he kind of like looks like Dracula in his coffin. Yes, we are probably going to make Safeton 5 hours, maybe 6, and just like mumbles the information along.
I'm lucky I got big ears, because I don't think I'd have caught that.
Well, I would say we should push on until we reach Safeton, and then we can take a rest. It's probably going to be much safer than trying to camp out here.
How, like, low in the sky is the sun at this point?
Give me a survival check.
Oh, I'm good at that. 17.
17, pretty good. I think that based off where the sun is in the sky and just kind of a natural sense of time, you get the feeling that it's about like 4 p.m. Like you guys have a few hours before the sun is gone, but it's still getting dimmer. It's not quite so warm. You can kind of gauge that you guys are in mid-afternoon. So, and with a survival check of 17, based off of the map you've been given and how long it's been taking you to travel so far, you guesstimate that it'll take just a handful of hours to get to Safeton if you guys keep on pace.
Okay.
While we're up here deciding the next course of action, I wanted to suggest something to you. Now, the first thing I ever did was I researched the Fae. I went out and I was a field researcher still, but you know, it's different when you're working on the blight. You're doing plant cuttings of the blight. So my suggestion would be, based on what happened and how we got our asses handed to us on a silver platter last time we interacted with blighted creatures that heavy, whatever that reanimation was, I say we do what I liked to do with creatures that were a little beyond my level. I've got trap and run spells where I can toss out a couple of brambles, catch them, and we book it. Because, quite frankly, I think we took heavy losses that fight. We got most of us blighted, some of us at heavier levels, kind of nearly an unrecoverable level. I think our best option at this point is to turn tail and run. Now, I always say that because I am a rabbit. However, that's why I'm passing it by you, who is very much willing to go stand middle of the battle.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I must ask, in DM you can clarify this on me, and you should know this too.
You should know this too.
I believe, did you all witness the blight speaking to itself from puppet to puppet?
Yes.
It's almost as if they are incapable of communicating with one another. Is this something that is indicative of multiple consciousness? Or
The blight was also healing itself.
well, that too?
I
as
noticed
well.
that. If it was connected with the veins, it was just regenerating.
When it was communicating with each other, were they touching the blighted ground, or were they outside of the blighted ground?
Based off of what you can remember, when they were communicating with each other, it was kind of these like low series of words that you couldn't quite take in during the moment. What languages do you speak? What languages does everyone speak?
Giant, common, and infernal.
Okay.
Common, undercommon, common sign language, thieves' cant, and halfling.
Okay.
Common, sign language, Sylvan, Druidic, and never mind.
Yep.
Common, Sylvan, Druidic, and Elvish.
Common, celestial, draconic, elvish, and sylvan.
So while you guys were fighting, it was hard to kind of take in any information concerning the fact that, you know, your backs are to the wall, you're fighting for your lives. So you can't really process it in the moment. But after having taken a short rest, after having driven for a while and having some time to think on it, while you don't remember the words, Natalia, the sounds that they were making, the like kind of weird inflections that they had, you don't remember what language that they were speaking, but you know that you share it.
Oh, I don't like the implications of that.
Interesting. Natalia would kind of
Share it?
It could be
think back. And as they're talking about the creatures speaking with one another, she didn't really take notice of that. She was a bit more. She took more notice of the way that they were healing themselves and such. But as she's remembering the quick events, she would kind of realize that had she been paying attention, she might have picked up on a few things due to the familiarity of what they were speaking. And she would kind of like, she has a hand on her head as she's had this entire time. Well, I can't say I know what they were saying, but I know it sounded familiar.
Especially now knowing that you share some kind of language with them, you might be able to, the next time you interact with it, kind of
figure it out.
Pay more attention to it
Yeah.
and decipher it. Yes.
Now, see, that's interesting.
Fun side question. How likely do you think it is that Arya knows what the Fae are?
Probably very little. Like, you've heard of it likely because of things like elves and Harangon who have Fae ancestry, but
And
it's
you're
like
about to get the lecture of your life.
it's like having never been to like, for example, Britain in the real world, and then like not knowing anything about it, but then someone's like, yeah, I'm British. You're like, okay, so that's a place.
Yeah. Okay.
Word association.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I cannot help much with the blight information. But what was it you said you studied before the blight?
Valdev has become an unskippable cutscene. Now, you see, I studied dryadology. Now, that's obviously the Fae. I don't know if you knew that. Dryad is a kind of Fae. Now, they're the...
There are
kind of known
different
as
kinds?
yeah, there are many kinds. So there's a lot of kinds. She's just yapping.
As you were
Natalia would shake
yap-
her head in the back of it.
As you were yapping towards Arya, both Pygmaeus and Natalia are in the back of the carriage. Pygmaeus giving the 1,000-yard stare. Natalia being like,
I didn't even bring my notebooks.
I hope you know at some point Arya does literally ask, where are they from?
Well, where are they from? Well, there's this other plane semi-adjacent to ours. Sometimes it rubs over. You can get
Does
in.
she know what the planes are?
no.
I'm so excited. Okay, so we live in the material plane. There are more than that. There are also things like the celestial plane, the abyssal plane, the elemental planes, fire, earth, water, and air. And there's also the Feywild, which is the Fey plane. That's where they live. Now, sometimes...
Oh my God, look!
As Pygmaeus says that, up ahead, you see that the path kind of stops for a minute. You see that there's a section of it that has been kind of like, for some reason or other, pushed away. It could have been wind, it could have been whatever else. But it's not very long. It's maybe just a few dozen feet where there is no path. And you can see in between, almost like it took advantage of it the second it could, the blight has kind of pulled in between the two sections. So you guys have this path laid out. There's a couple dozen feet section of blight, and then the path continues. Now, you can just drive over it as long as everyone is cautious, but you saw that even driving over it briefly before caused it to try and snap the wagon.
Oh, wow. I think Kai would first... he would actually be actively listening to Veldov because he finds it interesting, but he also doesn't want to be a nerd, so he tries to pretend that he's not listening.
He's like nonchalant, like...
Kai's trying to be in the back here, he's like,
Oh, wow. Multiple planes, interesting. But I think Hubie, when you said that it sounds familiar, Natalia, I think Kai would ask you, what do you speak?
What, like, languages?
Yes.
and like she'd have to think really hard about it.
Some of them you were taught so long ago. And you
Yeah,
barely
like
use.
she's kind of like most of the languages that she probably knows. She has like the school teaching knowledge of, not like the actual speaking.
Yes.
She was just kind of like rack her brain for a minute. Well, common, obviously. My family speaks Elvish and Sylvan. What was I taught? Celestial. I learned Celestial in school.
I see.
Which they then try to teach you some levels of Draconic, but I really picked up more Draconic in the Isles. Lots of traders there, Dragonborn.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I don't speak that many languages, so very proficiently, but
Arya,
Yes.
what languages do you speak?
So this would be more like there were books in the language. In the
Okay.
common. Like you don't necessarily actually speak them, but you can at least understand them. It's like
Yeah,
having
'cause-
learned Spanish from a Spanish 101 book.
Well, my thought was that it was like, oh, people in the commune spoke it,
That
so she
also
knows
is
how to
probably
speak
likely.
it, but she doesn't know
Couldn't
what
read or write
language it
it.
is.
Yeah. So what could actually happen there if that is the case is that you're like, and you just say like a small sentence in each language. You're like, these 1, 2, 3. Like I don't know what they're called. But
That's how I count the languages I speak.
Yeah, I think I would clock that she Feldo probably speaks Sylvan.
As a Feywild researcher, you could assume.
Probably knows a bit of it. And so he kind of lingers on the Celestial and Draconic. And then his own little conspiracy theory starts unraveling in his head.
the tinfoil hat comes
And
on.
he's like, the Blight wasn't the first curse that have permeated the land, but it probably is the most dangerous. We first was introduced to it actually in the sea.
Let's see.
Something about the way that the Blight refused to let the church fall, that little temple to a god, makes me seem to believe that, I don't know, I've just heard murmurings possibly that it is a punishment of sort. Now,
I don't think it's
Does
a
Arya, like-
punishment.
granted,
Now, I will say-
don't think it is the gods
Talia,
doing it.
with a passive perception of 18, when he says it, you do see Arya like,
Yes.
Natalia would kind of like eyebrow Arya for a moment. Look, I think it's speaking to one another.
Yes.
It's made a sound of a crying baby,
Yes.
and the only thing standing was a temple. It's trying to draw people in. It's smart, it's moving, and it thinks. It communicates with itself. It's less of a punishment and more of a trap. It's a hunter. It's treating us like prey.
That's
Why?
interesting.
Now, why is it that when I was at the supposed third level, which again, I'm just sorry, that still blows my mind, the fact that there are levels to this thing.
Yes, well,
You gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to take them out back and shoot them in the head.
It's less of
my goodness.
levels and more just like how bad do you have it.
yeah. For most common people, they just kind of think of it in the terms of the symptoms that it produces, in terms of like the fatigue and the coughing of blood and the for some people who've gotten that far, the scent it brings. Most people think of it in terms of what it causes. It is really the researchers that kind of think of it in like specified tiers.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say severity levels.
I see.
There were a few people at my temple who referred to it as levels, but really, blight is blight, and you either get rid of it or it gets rid of you.
So, important question. We have come across this gap in the road.
Correct.
How heavy is the wagon with no one on it?
With no one on. That's a good question.
Plus horses?
I might have a spell for this.
The horses can go on their own.
I wonder if it actually just says.
Yeah.
I would like.
It does not have a specified
You
weight.
let the horses
so here's what I'm
walk
gonna
on
do.
it?
Okay.
Well, if the horses don't make it, we can still pull it.
Yes.
I'm gonna.
She can still pull it.
Yeah, I can pull it.
I'm gonna say that realistically, and this is just a guesstimation for me. I'm no expert on carriage weight. I'm gonna just say roughly between 1,000 and like 1,200 pounds with nothing in it.
Okay.
What the beans? Okay. Hey, so there's this gap in the road. Now I can take the risk and cast a spell that'll get us over it. We're gonna have to find a way to get that carriage over it. That does not involve us in the carriage, because I can't carry that much.
I could also just throw these 7 vials of oil on it, and then you can cast Fireball.
As you just 1, 2.
I can make more, by the way.
She's looking at you with a very
you
specific, I'm gonna set things on fire.
If Arya
Yes.
became large, could she carry the carriage over?
What is your normal carrying capacity?
Great question.
Because I
have
think
that
that's
written down.
determined by size.
15 times your strength score, I think.
Is typically
Okay.
what it
Yeah.
is.
How many feet?
What's your strength score?
+4.
Or what's the actual score itself?
18.
18. Your typical carrying capacity is about 270.
Okay.
So I think even at large, you couldn't like lift it, but you could probably pull it, especially since it's on wheels. You could absolutely pull it, but lifting it like over your head is probably out of
Yeah.
the question.
What if she's huge?
Yeah.
Huge, I think would probably be, it would come down to an athletics check at that point. But like if you're large, I think even with an athletic check, it's gonna be pretty tough. I think huge would be like even a relatively decent athletic check would allow you to maybe not lift it over your head, but like pick it up to some degree.
Yeah, because
Like, kind
like,
of like
we barely touched the blight and it broke one of our wheels.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a strong man carrying a boulder almost.
Yeah.
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 Question.
Yes.
Okay. Specifically, how long is this stretch of blight?
This stretch of blight is probably about 30 feet.
Okay. Second question. How long is the carriage in its entirety with the horses?
With the horses is probably getting close to about probably 12 to 14 feet.
Okay.
Depending on if the horses are like right with their butts to the carriage or if they're like a little bit out like they normally are.
Okay. Third question. So, in the wording of Leoman's tiny hut, it says it's a 10-foot emanation that springs into existence around me. It does not say anything about if it moves with me or not.
It does not, because
does
you
not.
can leave Leoman's tiny hut. So don't worry about that,
Yeah.
because I have Tensor's floating disc.
I see.
Oh, okay.
So that's a level 1 conjuration. And it's ritual, so I don't even have to have it prepared or use the Feywild shard to prepare it.
There you go.
So I will have to roll wild magic on it. But I can cast that, carry all of us over, and then we can have Arya pull the cart.
Now,
Assuming
unfortunately, I
the
do
cart
believe
is still
Tensor's
there.
floating disc is immobile if someone is on it, correct?
Let me see.
Or
Even
did-
if it
oh,
is,
actually, they
it's
might
a
have changed it.
30-foot range, so it will go over, and we will walk over it like a bridge.
Yeah.
Is it
Like
30-foot
a
range or
bump
30-foot
and then-
radius?
It says range 30 feet. It has, it's 3 feet in diameter,
I
so I
was
can
gonna
carry
say,
each
'cause
of us.
I think a
It
30-foot
lasts
range is
for an
how
hour, so
far
I can
you
get
can
each
put
of
it.
us over.
Now, what I would say is realistically, what you could do is put the disc in the middle and try and like jump to it and then jump to
Stepping
the end.
stones?
Yeah, kind of like a stepping stone kind of thing, but it would definitely not be able to like carry you over.
I think we are.
Oh, it's immobile while I'm in 20 feet of it,
Yes,
and then it moves to follow me.
it is immobile.
However, I could do stepping stone with it.
Correct.
So
Especially with your hair and gun jump, you'd absolutely be
I
able to
can
make
just
it.
jump over it, I think.
Or we could, if we I look at Arya, if we'll turn you huge, right? And you put that little stepping stone, she won't need to touch the blight. She can.
What is...
I have a bit of a rude question here. If we were to get you, because I know Pygmaeus can make things bigger. If we were to get you to rage, get you big, and then make you bigger, how much you gonna weigh?
Well, that's kind of a rude question.
That's why I prefaced.
I will
It's
also,
important.
I will also say, as you guys are sitting there talking and planning, especially Arya, you guys notice the sun is still lowering in the distance.
We gotta be quick. How much you weigh?
Would you weigh?
How many buffs can we stack on you? Theoretically.
I don't know.
I think realistically at huge, I wouldn't know exactly how much she weighs. What threshold are you trying to get underneath?
Underneath 500 pounds.
No.
Probably not.
She's 25 foot tall.
Yeah, she's not
So
under
we can't
500.
get you that big. But I can make it into a stepping stone, and if y'all are careful enough, it's 3 feet in diameter. It's a big area to land. We'll get you across.
How wide is this gap?
30
that we
feet
have
long.
to-
30 feet.
And I'm assuming you wouldn't be able to reach. If she were to rage, turn large, and then from large, I cast enlarge
To get huge.
Would they be able to reach something that's 30 feet away?
Not
No.
from standing, because their wingspan would only be so far.
I'm assuming if they
My
threw
reach
something.
would be from 10 feet to then 15 feet.
Oh
So
my
I can
God,
stand in the middle and like carry people. But like
What if-
my range
what
would
if
leave
you
eventually.
use your what's your weapon again?
Halberd.
Halberd as a spatula.
Pick people up, turn
I was
around,
going
dump
to
'em.
say, what if I cast jump on you? And then you can also jump while huge.
Yes.
You could probably cover the gap at that point just by jumping.
Yeah.
Would she be able to carry all of us? Little.
It would be an athletics check to carry all of you in the carriage. Now, you can carry the carriage with an athletics check if you're huge, but if people are in it, it will just raise the DC.
You people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
the royal you.
I will say, I do not mind walking over the blade.
True. If you are huge with your wingspan and size, you could realistically just grab people in the carriage from one side and just set it down on the
yeah,
other.
exactly. But she'd have to stand in the middle of the
Correct.
blight to do
Yeah.
so, and she doesn't care.
Oh, really?
If she stands on the
Okay.
little
She's
disc, does that
she's
help
been
at all?
up to this point okay, and that disc cannot support.
And she has
her
also
at that
her weight,
been
yes.
barefoot.
And
Yeah.
also,
The entire
to get to the
time.
first one, you have to pass the Constitution
Correct.
saving throw, which
So-
everyone here did not.
Does that seem like the plan at this point?
I vote for that one just because I want the carriage.
You want
I
the
don't
carriage
wanna-
to be okay.
Yeah, I don't want to bet
Destroy
it.
it.
I can. Well, I actually don't know if I can levitate the carriage. It's pretty heavy.
Probably not.
She's
I
just
can
talking
take
out
care
loud
of
at this
it.
point.
So
Don't worry.
All right.
I will say, if this is the plan, go ahead and expend your spell slot. Just make sure you do, Nawaf. As
let's
you
see,
rage, get too large, and then after another few seconds, you become huge as the enlarge spell is cast on you. Arya is 25 feet tall.
Yes.
She's the size of a 2-story building in front of you all.
Yes.
This
Her
massive,
halberd is 30 feet tall.
Yeah, this massive woman steps into the middle of the blight. I will ask for a blight save, which is con for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm debating which dice I want to use.
Okay. 24.
24. I will say that will not be the only one you have to roll. As you are standing in this and moving around and working in the blight.
Yes.
The rest of you, with very little work from Arya, are just kind of picked up gently, either like this or in the palm, up to you, and then kind of set onto the other side. You guys are all safely brought over, and the carriage can get an athletics check.
Yes. And I do get advantage on that.
While you are working, I will add the vines of the light try and wrap around your foot and try and get onto your ankle, but you're so huge that at their pace it's taking quite a bit of time.
Okay.
Your size is actually helping to repel it just by the nature of it has to cover so much more ground to get onto you.
Fun. Another 23.
Another 23. You're successful, even though you kind of feel the vines trying to wrap around your flesh, the curse trying to sink into your soul. You are focused on your work. You are focused on helping your friends, and especially with your fortitude, you manage to push it away. Your large size helping you in the terms of it can't simply cover that much ground or blight you the way it wants to. You all are safely set on the other side, and then Arya, you walk off back onto the sand path as you begin to kind of back down to your normal size.
I will say, being barefoot pretty much her entire life, she's definitely stepped on less pleasant textures.
You've stepped on hard, pointy gravel. And
Yeah, and definitely the feeling of wet seaweed or a fish
Yeah.
sliding underfoot. She's definitely stepped on things like
The
that.
sudden
So this is
discovery
normal.
that one of the young children has soiled themselves and left it behind.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
this is normal.
You all manage to get to the other side of this gap with help from Arya as the carriage is set down and you all get back together. You are back normal size, and you and Valdo resume your spots there at the front of the carriage as you guys drive off following the path yet again. Now, what you will notice is the path narrows down just a little bit. It goes from about 10 feet wide to just about 8 feet, meaning that while you still plenty of space for the carriage and for someone to walk behind or walk alongside if they're careful, there's no longer that extra room that you guys had previously.
Okay.
You guys essentially lost about a foot on either side.
I think I'll get my mule to go in front this time instead of to the side of the horses.
So your mule kind of almost joins the horses, though not pulling the carriage as you guys continue moving forward.
Are they besties, by the way, the mule and the horse?
I'm gonna ask him.
Can they talk?
Pak Gusti, are you friends with the horses?
I can't quite understand them in that way.
They're best friends.
How wonderful.
So
Arya, darling, let me know when it gets a bit too dark. I can help you see very far.
at this point, dusk is starting to fall. It is not dark yet, but dim light will soon set upon the region.
How long does your thing last?
Eyes of Night lasts an hour. So I would say that's
Once it gets to
once it
actual
gets dark,
darkness, yeah.
then
Yeah.
I can bop you.
So at this point,
Even without it, I have 60-foot dark vision.
yeah,
which
but then
is
you can
not-
have 360 feet of dark
Yes.
vision.
at this point, can I get a animal handling check for
Yes.
I think during this. Oh,
What is this?
can I give? Since I'm up there with her, can I try
you? Are
and
you
like?
proficient in animal handling?
I think.
Because it was so funny. It was a home rule for me before, but it is now an official rule that to provide the help action, you must be proficient in the
No,
skill.
I mostly meant when I notice something is amiss, can I grab the reins and take over, not provide the help action?
I see.
Because I knew I couldn't do because I'm not proficient in it. I just want to see if I can be like, wait.
I'll allow it. You are blind, so it is a disadvantage as you have the poison condition, but
I got an 11.
11 is not bad either. So maybe this is less so like literally taking them, more like pulling on one side to help steer it. I will note though, a low roll will hurt it.
Did you get a nat 1?
No,
No, she got a 2.
no, I got a 5.
And that's another dice to the blight jail.
That's 2 dice.
Wow.
If they roll 5 or below, they sit in jail.
So,
They get stunned.
what is your total?
5.
You are mostly on track. Now, at some point, you start veering a little bit
Rocco
because you're
just has
trying to,
anxiety.
even though your dark vision allows you some level of grayscale, even within dim light, you're starting to like really focus on looking ahead, and so you don't realize when one of the horses is like kind of veering a little bit, and you don't pull the reins in time. It's not until you really feel the cart shifting that you pull it back, and you manage to stay on the path. But then Valdove kind of is like reaches out trying to help you and yanks it, and you see the horse kind of like vroom, and like pulls up after the like rapid tug from Valdove before coming back down. You can see the horses are clearly agitated now. Nothing is wrong at the moment, but you can tell that too many more failures and they're gonna start really causing some problems.
All those ears that usually sit up here are straight back. she like was writing in her notebook, looked up, saw that we were veering off the path, and instinctively was like, "We're gonna get it."
Can I take a moment to speak to the horse? Is it 2 horses or 1 horse?
It is 2 horses,
2 horses. Can I speak to them?
if you'd like to.
Okay, awesome. Yo,
Now, I will add, you can speak to them and they can understand you, but they cannot speak back in a way that you understand, unless you cast Speak with Animals.
I don't think.
I believe your
tongues?
speech allows them to understand you, but not return speech.
I will say, as soon as the horse is like very startled, Arya is going to like stop the cart and go to soothe the horses. She is
So-
giving them a break.
Yeah, so you go ahead and stop the cart. You guys are most of the way to Safeton, but not quite there yet. Dusk is starting to fall. The dim light is starting to kind of consume the area around you, but it's not quite to the point where you, like those of you without dark vision, which is Valdove and Pygmaeus, you guys can still kind of see. Now a torch or something would help, but for the rest of you, your grayscale or your green scale is starting to kick in as your dark vision starts to take over your normal sight. Yes.
DM.
Yes.
Um,
Is it actually that they can speak back?
I believe so. You must check
I'm going to double check now.
Circle of the Shepherd and the other language.
Base Druid,
No,
Circle of the
the unmentionable one.
Shepherd.
The unmentionable one is crazy.
I see. That one would not help. But the Circle of the Shepherd ability may. Let's see.
I'm either right
So you
or
can
trolling.
decipher their noises and motions, meaning you can understand what they are trying to say, but they cannot literally speak to you. But like when the horses kind of like shimmy and move and neigh, you can get what they're intending to say or do, but you don't hear literal words.
It's like when a cat pulls its ears back and you go,
Yeah.
I'm not petting that.
Like it's like more so reading their body language and the tones of what noises they're making than literally hearing words coming out of their mouth. So what do you say to them?
Yo, my guys, are they like bothering you? Do you want me to take care of it?
You see them as Arya is kind of like giving them a moment to rest, kind of loosening the reins a little bit so they can breathe a little bit.
She's also definitely taking out like pieces of her rations that are grain based and giving them to
By the way, that isn't. I'm not just dropping the character. That is the accent that he
That is
makes.
the accent he uses for horses.
Yeah.
So as Pygmaeus
He's from the
does
south
that-
side. and
Yeah,
he-
as
you know how
Pygmaeus
it's-
does that, you see the horses kind of like shake their shoulders and their manes a little bit, and kind of like indicating to you that more so than anything, they are like tired, and really the biggest thing is that they are like startled. Horses naturally don't do well in like very crazy environments, and especially with the fight that you guys had, you guys managed to keep the horses in control, but that does not mean that they are not still shaken. And so while they can't convey like an advanced thought of what's going on in their minds, you get that feeling that they are uneasy is the best way to put it.
Okay.
And that whenever you guys rest, they will likely need to properly rest as well.
One more thing.
Yes.
Okay, so here, listen out. One neigh for 1 hour before you get tired. 2 neighs for 2 hours before you get tired. 3 neighs for 3 hours before you get tired. 4 neighs for 4 hours before you get tired. 5 neighs for 5 hours before
You
get
do
tired.
that for about a few times.
Give me a we saw if you're like done, like you need to stop right now.
We saw. You see the horses kind of look at each other and kind of like. At some point, they look back towards you, and you get about 3 neighs, which is like, but it's like a hesitant 3 neighs. It's like we can do 3 to get to safety, but we want to rest afterwards.
I see.
I love that they have a concept of hours.
It's more so that Pygmaeus probably conveys it in a way they can understand.
Yeah.
How Pygmaeus is conveying in a way we understand in terms of hours, but for the horses, probably like, can you guys go for this much longer? Or like a horse could still likely understand when the sun is going down or tiredness.
They definitely don't understand Arya, but Arya is very gently speaking to the horses, being like, "We are almost there. We will get you there soon. I will make sure you have plenty of food and water."
You're saying all this and they're just like eating the grain.
Yeah, exactly.
I also have a DM question.
Yes.
Through her research with little pieces of blight and vials next to each other, and having had the revelation that the blight now, she knows they speak to each other, they have a way to communicate, which she has noticed. I'm not saying that they would have made noises. She has little tiny pieces of blight and vials, but would it have seemed like they, like thinking back now, maybe those little pieces were in some way signaling to each other, the way that like bugs in jars do.
Yeah.
And further, would she be able to extrapolate that separated pieces of blight speak to each other, but when they are together, they have like a hive mind?
Can you give me an investigation check? This will not be a disadvantage, as this is not like you currently investigating. This is more so
Right.
your investigations back then and thinking back on them.
Oh, this is a good one for me. Oh, it's a bad roll, but it's not that bad. It's a 13.
13 isn't bad. I will say it's hard to decipher, especially having to think back on it and not just being there. But from what you can recall, pieces of blight that were completely separated in their like jars you had them in did not seem to communicate with each other in any kind of sophisticated manner. But whenever there was 2 like pieces of blight inside one container, they would attempt to conjoin or like merge together. And then you can see them like shifting and moving in patterns that, like, as you jotted notes down, you realized they were moving in a very like a way that has patterns to it that is recognizable. You can start telling and guessing what they're doing based off what they've done before, but it's something that you understood at the time. So, yes.
I was going to ask, is that considered a failed check?
13?
Yeah.
It's a partial success.
partial.
I tend to do like,
Yeah,
it's not pass or fail. I
yeah,
do
I get
scale,
that.
especially for ability checks.
It's just that my flash of genius only works if it fails. That's why I'm asking.
So that would be technically considered a failure, but
Okay.
also this is more so recollection. You would not be able to flash genius it as this was way in the past.
Gotcha. Okay.
And she didn't bring any of her notebooks, otherwise I'd be like, well, actually.
So you guys finish up your rest for a little bit. You guys take about 20, 30 minutes to stop and breathe, as well as give the horses some moment to eat and rest before you retighten the reins just a little bit and get back on the road.
I will say, during the rest time, Arya does, like, gently coax Valdove back into the carriage proper.
Like, oh, you're good inside.
You seem tired, like get some rest. She definitely like takes off like her outer cloak and like folds it so that Valdove has like a pillow or something. Aw.
Valdove, like, thank you. Just gonna go lay down.
The most just like, thank you so much.
You do not understand how much this means to me. I'm thinking really hard about something.
So you lay down, you get back in the carriage. We won't require another animal handling check, as the rest of this is a still relatively straight shot, and you've just made one. Though, as I've said, too many more failures, even on like separated days, may lead the horses to not like revolt, but they will not be happy. Their performance may be worsened.
Yeah.
After just a handful more hours of traveling, you guys start to see Safeton on the horizon. Now, Kai, you've been to Safeton. It was a port that was pretty well known before the Blight existed. And especially now that it's been so long, you know that Safeton actually lasted longer than most towns out here. Being a port town, they were more capable of receiving supplies from Greyhawk easily than any of the other cities. And so it lasted just a little bit longer than most, but at the end of the day, eventually it still fell. And that's kind of where it is now. Seeing Safeton on the horizon, you see much similar to what you saw in Narwhal, where there are most buildings collapsed. A lot of them are really kind of decrepit at this point. Stones crumbled and thrown to the wayside. Pieces of wood snapped in on themselves with splinters kind of pointing out in every direction. There are still a few buildings standing, but even those have sections of blight that are so thick and kind of wrapped around them that they are essentially inhospitable. Now, the path actually cuts through Safeton, but there's still a decent kind of clearance where there's nothing directly on the other side of you except for tendrils of blight that kind of curl away from the path as you guys previously saw. Getting close, you guys actually look up ahead, and with a 360-foot range of dark vision, you can actually see well into the town. There are no lights here, not a single lamp, not a single torch, no signs of life. But up ahead, you do see that the path continues and then kind of expands into this circle that is probably about 30 feet at its widest. That is almost like a platform where there is no blight, there is no nothing, it is just the sand. That is the largest concentration that you've seen up to this point. And it almost acts as a like small rest stop. Now, you do know that Safeton was one last to fall, and you've heard that there was essentially a like clean zone inside the city, but you never knew what it was up until this point where now you are seeing this kind of circle that lays within the middle of the town. Yes.
I have plans for players. Now, first of all, after our session, we had talked about maybe collecting more than just the vials, and you had said that you could make baskets, and we would collect it in bigger things. Secondly, we have this safe area, but it would be even safer if somebody would cast Leoman's tiny hut and we all slept in there.
Yeah.
So,
You guys
that's my idea.
drive
wanna cast that
into
spell.
Safeton. I will say, once you guys get within the bounds of the city, you can hear like the wind howling against the now empty buildings that are left behind. You can see that the blight has consumed everything around you, similar to the trees. Because it clings on to what was left of the buildings, it rises into the air around you. You almost feel enclosed by it. But a strange feeling comes upon you all when you realize that dead center in the middle of this town, what may have been at some point a town square where families traveled and festivals were celebrated, there's this lone spot of safety where the sand circles around itself, the glitteringness of it barely there in the moonlight, and this kind of empty feeling is washed away by what finally feels like some kind of reprieve from all the journey you guys have had up to this point. This is where realistically, you guys can take a long rest.
Yippee!
And about that, I just remembered Liamon's Tiny Hut is a ritual spell, which means I can cast it without preparing it, which I replaced it with Remove Curse, or without expending a spell slot, so that's what Veldev is going to do.
So, you immediately, as soon as you guys get there, start going to the middle and setting up Liamon's Tiny Hut, placing various different things along the border where you know it will be cast as you're doing it ritually. Are the rest of you all doing anything as you guys kind of start winding down for the day? The sun is almost entirely gone at this point. Just the faintest bits of orange paint the sky, but for the most part, you guys just see moonlight that glistens off what is left, the silvery light kind of illuminating the stones that rise from the ground, and then the ones that have fallen off and returned to it since then.
Arya is definitely making sure that the horses are taken care of first and foremost. Like,
So-
she's foregoing setting up her, like,
Bedroll and everything.
bedroll and
yeah.
everything. She is taking care of these horses.
Okay. Give me an animal handling check with advantage
Okay.
as you are dedicating your time to this.
So, question: how do we take a shit?
Well, you can leave freely if you're inside where I cast it, which is why I'm laying out this boundary. I don't really need to. It's for you
Well,
guys.
I appreciate it, but I can't really shit right next to a tent.
No, I'm saying you can leave. We can't. Well, no, we can see out. You can't see in. You can go
Oh, shit.
dig a hole down the path. I don't know. You're a field researcher. Do what you've done.
If I go back the path that we came from, then I would be far away.
Just stick
Either
with
way.
the sand.
Stick within the sand. Just don't go outside. It should be
So
fine.
I will say this is about 30-foot diameter section of the sand. Lima's Tiny Hut is how big?
It goes 10 feet out from me in every direction.
So 10-foot radius. So the tiny hut covers the majority of that circle, leaving about 5 feet on either side where you guys can walk around the hut and be safe, or still be safe on the sand. But the majority of that circle is within Lehman's tiny hut at this point. As you are still casting, it's not quite up yet.
And you can see out from inside. That's crazy.
All right. So I can get a
It's a two-way mirror.
bucket, which apparently holds up to half a
just a mirror.
cubic foot of contents.
Interesting.
Or I could get a basket, which holds up to 40 pounds within 2 cubic feet.
Now, I will say the basket is probably like a woven one, so
Yeah.
the sand may like slowly drip out of it, and it'll be less secure there. The bucket would hold it better, but obviously you get less.
Yeah.
So that is up to you at that point.
I have fabric I definitely have fabric we can line the bucket with because my character carries her fineries on her.
Refineries.
Wait, why are
So
we
she
doing
would
this?
just
I'm
hand
so
you a big
confused.
dress and is like,
They
just
want to
like
take the
that.
sand.
They want
Yeah.
to collect some of the sand.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I
if
thought it
you
was
guys
the-
want to do any looking into it, as part of your long rest, you only need to spend 6 of those hours actually sleeping. You guys have 2 hours as you guys are winding down to kind of do whatever you wish before the day ends. Now, you know that realistically, this will be the only long rest you get on the path to Elred, and then at Elred, you guys might get another. So if you guys need any downtime, essentially, this is the moment to do it.
Does anything happen to the blight when we take a long rest?
To the bite when you take a long rest, that will be discussed as you take a long rest. Right now, this is the wind down time.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go excuse myself. Don't follow me, and if you do, sorry.
When you
So,
come back,
you walk off
I
to
will
the
cast it.
14 on animal handling.
For dynamic handling, considering that there's no consequences to this roll, a 14 is pretty good. The DC was relatively low. As just
+5, and I've been rolling so bad.
as just taking care of the horses, showing them some signs of kindness, you can see eases them. There's like less tension in those very broad shoulders. The neck relaxes just a little bit, and you can see that they're also very clearly tired. They're like huffing and kind of winding down too. The food that you're giving them helps replenish their energy, and they start to like kind of set up to go to bed as well, kind of finding a little area just outside the hut, but still on the sand, as even the horses, not being the most intelligent creatures, can recognize blight bad. You are walking off just a little bit. You are taking care of the horses. Kai, you are currently casting Lima's Tiny Hat, which will only take 10 minutes, so you can also do some downtime. So what are the three of you doing, winding down, getting ready for your rest?
Well, I'm going to relay what I've remembered to Kai. So I'm going to, as he's doing whatever his downtime thing is, she's going to walk up while still preparing really the outside, because as a ritual caster, she can just...
Yeah, you're kind of like walking around the perimeter, setting up the various things that you need to.
Well, and with her ritual adept, she can just cast it.
Oh,
she doesn't.
nice.
She can excuse it as an action. So she's actually just setting it up so Pygmaeus knows where to stay inside of it.
Sounds good.
And so she's been setting this up and is dampening her pipe, putting it out. She
Yeah.
doesn't need it for this spell. She walks up to Kai. She goes, "So I've done some research. I'm sure you're aware of that. I didn't tell you much, but, I had you dispose of some things with me. And what I remember is that I used to keep little pieces of blight in these vials. And the ones that are completely separate they're just in glass, just a piece each. They didn't talk to each other or nothing. They didn't really interact. They would move. They were still, they're not alive, but like animated. But they didn't communicate. But when I had 2 pieces in the same glass, I have larger ones back at the academy, they seemed to have some kind of communication. Now, it's not obviously language. They didn't have mouth parts or nothing. It was like a piece of rock and a leaf or something. But the blight would move around that to reconnect, and it had some patterns. I don't remember very well the patterns, but it got to a point where I could tell what they were going to do. So, like, if I had a rock and a leaf, the blight on the rock would, they'd kind of move toward each other a little bit, and there was some kind of communication that happened when they reached each other, and then it would leach over to just the leaf. And it's because it prefers things that are alive. It can't eat a rock, but just thought you'd know. Now, I have this hypothesis. I think the reason those black creatures we fought were able to speak in some manner to each other is because they came from humanoids. Now, whether that's because they had mouth parts or because the thing that it took over already had the ability to speak, I don't know. But that language she recognized, I didn't hear it. I know it wasn't a Fey language, and that's all I can help with. So I'm willing to bet it's not something these folks spoke before the blight got them.
Question, DM. When the little puppets talked, their mouths move, or was it just a emanating sound?
You did see the jaws kind of like open and close. Now, they don't have all the same flesh that normal people do, but you did notice that like the parts that should be moving to make noise were moving as much as they could.
Okay.
Also, mind you, Valdiv is like 60 feet away during the whole fight, so she was not really watching.
Yeah.
That thing had mouth parts.
I like the word mouth parts because it's really just a jaw.
Yeah, well, because I was gonna say, well, it's because these creatures already had the ability to speak, and then I remembered the one that was actually just several pieces of different creatures stuck together, and then thought she probably noticed that and wouldn't think that anymore. So that's the hypothesis.
Are they capable of post-glottal stops?
While you're talking, Natalia, what are you doing during this time?
Natalia would kind of be watching like Valdiv set all this up, and she'd kind of sit down. It's kind of nice because typically when she's traveling at night, she's the one who has to do this, and she's kind of like,
I guess to just relax.
Yeah, for once that she's not needed for that. And she'd kind of like sit down, and she'd pull out her harp, and she'd kind of just like start plucking some like notes in a waltzy pattern and just kind of humming to herself, trying to like bring peace to herself after the day's events, because like she is stressed. She does not know. She's kind of like, what the fuck did I get myself into? And yeah, that's the best way that she knows how to calm her own emotions. And so she's just kind of in the background of this intense intellectual conversation, is just like and some like small humming and like some mumbling of words from Natalia. She's just kind of like, she's vibing. She's ready for sleepy time.
There's some background music for you all, and you having said that, Kai.
Hilariously, if you ever told Valdiv that you learned a song from the Fae, true or not, she'd fully believe you and start writing it down.
I think
what she's doing.
Kai, he'll converse with her, and then like keep talking, and then eventually an idea starts forming in his head, and he is going to try and recall, and also telepathically ask about Gusti as well. Did it seem like blighted creatures became more intelligent the more it spread? Like at the beginning, when he first encountered them, were they more animalistic? Because he is starting to think of them more as like a hunter in the way that Natalia was speaking. Did it become more and more intelligent the more humanoids and stuff that they
Give me
captured?
an insight check.
Interesting.
It's kind of inciting the motivations and the actions behind the blight.
Gotcha. I'll cast guidance myself.
Fair enough.
Wow! Dang! Okay. That's really good, considering the fact that I'm
Disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
No, dirty 20, is it plus 0?
Yeah, plus 0 on sense.
I was gonna say, it's dirty 20 with
It's still pretty good though.
Yeah.
With a non-natural 20, I think, especially as you're thinking back on the tales that you've been told, as well as the things that you've interacted with, there is something similar to what you're saying, but almost in reverse. It seems like, in fact, the opposite. The longer things have gone on, and realistically, in a way, the further out that the blight travels, it actually seems the less intelligent it gets. It seems like it is leaning back more on primal instincts or like basic urges, but that in the early times, like the reason it spread so fast at first and was so bad is because it was acting in a way that like it was counteracting safety measures that people put in place to try and get rid of it. Now, it has not settled, but is more predictable, and especially given time, people have kind of figured out some safety measures. But originally, it was fast, it was lethal, it was able to kind of, for lack of a better term, outsmart humanity. But now that it's been a long time, and especially the further you kind of see it travel, it seems like it is acting more on base instinct.
Interesting.
So you would say it's spread thin.
To some degree, that's a way you could put it.
Yeah. I think that's what Kai would tell you. Like, he'll recall a bit of information. He'll be like, I remember in the early days, back in my homeland, the blight was acting a lot more intelligent, more alive, more capable of outwitting and outsmarting everyone around it. That's how it got most of its early victims. And then, I don't know, perhaps it is maybe alive, perhaps it is getting lazy or becoming content. Well, not content, it is still trying to, and we saw the little spooky little tree branches kind of moving towards Greyhawk, so.
Now, Valdo, can I get an insight check as well? Also, I like squeeze my hands together in the sound.
Disadvantaged?
No, this is thinking back on your investigation or on your research as well.
Okay. Insight? Can I persuade you to make this an investigation?
No.
3.
3.
This is a bad
Like
batch,
Joe.
dude.
It's filling up fast. That one's gone.
That one is gone.
So
That's what's going to happen to you.
I think realistically, as you are thinking back on it, it's hard to piece together everything considering the fact that you were more worried about what it was doing then than maybe what it was doing in the past. But given some time to think on that, you may be able to come to some different conclusions.
I think maybe I've seen a paper somewhere that suggested that. I didn't notice it personally. And, I haven't been in the field all that long and whatnot. I was in Greyhawk at the time. They pulled back all our research when they saw how bad it was.
I'd say at about the end of this conversation, or as you guys are winding up, Pygmaeus, you go off for a second. What are you doing?
Damn.
Yes.
Sage. Is that something I can find in this region?
Probably not. At least not immediately around, because if it was there, it would have been taken
By the
blight.
blight. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because it eats plants.
Yeah.
So I will say, you go off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you do anything before you come back, or are you just kind of gone for a few minutes and you return?
I was going to go and see if I can find some sage, because I had something in my mind.
I think Pygmaeus walks up and is like, oh, let me find some sage, looks around, see all the vegetation absolutely overtaken by the curse.
Oh, there's no
and
shade.
you're like, ah.
Right. Well, I guess after he takes a massive dookie, he walks back following the path, right?
Yeah, and you're coming back at around the end of this conversation. I'll say, Ari, you're also wrapping up with your time with the horses. At this point, if you'd like to throw up Lehman's tiny hut, now that everyone's kind of back together, you may.
I think before she notices Pygmaeus go back, she goes, "Are you suggesting that the blight is capable of discernment? That'd be interesting." And then she sees Pygmaeus comes back and she goes, "You took longer than this would have taken to cast as an actual ritual."
God damn.
Damn. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which is only
My
10
bad.
minutes, but I still like...
Well, if you'd seen what I did to the hole, you would think the blight was nothing.
so you get back, you cast Lehman's tiny hut. What does your Lehman's tiny hut look like?
So she has her pipe dampened and cleaned out somewhere away
With her
from
stuff.
away from the path. But she's holding it still, and she has a tiny little ball of like a little circular gemstone. And she rolls it around in the bowl, and she drops it down in the center, which she has marked. She goes and she stands there. She crushes it into the ground, and she goes, "Well, nighty night, everyone." And
The kind of sphere pops up around you all. Now, for a moment, your eyes adjust and you can still see clearly out of it. And so you're kind of like, is it up? And then you look at it and you see just faintly this shimmer to the air that indicates the edges of the Lehman's tiny hut.
And Valdiv decides she doesn't like the dark very much, so it's also not dim in here. It is very well lit. She goes, "If this is going to bother anybody, that's fine. I'll turn it off. But it's been dark for me for too damn long, and I only got a brief reprieve when the sun came up when we were out of that forest. So we're going to have light for a little bit while I journal some things."
Right. Well, could it be turned off by the time we go to sleep? Because did you know you can't enter a REM sleep if the lights are turned on.
Not with that
That's
attitude.
a true fact, by the way.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, I think
What
that's...
is a REM sleep?
Don't worry about it.
The good one, the good kind. Like the kind that you wake up, you go, that was a really good sleep.
Oh, did not know that was
How it
possible.
works, but yeah.
What she said.
Okay.
Dreaming.
Oh, I see.
As Natalia is sitting in the corner playing this song for herself, and after the hut goes up, she would think back to what she knows about the blight and that rest helps. And I would like to cast Bardic Inspiration through this song on Natalia, just in case.
Okay.
Just to make her feel good before we do this long rest and they all reset.
As you're humming and strumming away, you cast Bardic Inspiration yourself, kind of, like you said, comforting yourself, recentering. Unless there's anything else any of you all would like to do before you head to bed.
Did we call dibs on who's sleeping where?
It's a big hut.
Yeah. I will also say Arya definitely sets up in a corner and pulls out a little folding thing. And she suddenly has a little area where she can cook. And she is making a proper meal.
So,
Does it come with bedrolls, or do we have to supply that ourselves?
you guys should have bedrolls in your packs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, you guys can set out bedrolls however you'd like. You see Arya
If
just
you
has-
don't have one, Arya's will offer you her cloak.
I can also make one.
Arya essentially pulls out a little burner, a little magically powered burner, as well as what looks like a kind of fold out wash basin that
A cutting board too.
Yeah, a cutting board, and starts to cook up something of a meal.
Oh, hold on. I just realized. Wild magic.
Oh, yeah, magic, yes. You better pray this doesn't fail.
Okay, that's a 58.
You're
It
good.
does not fail.
Kai is going to use his Tinker's tool again to create he'll make a bucket.
Okay.
And then he's going to collect some of the sands. He's going to make sure he doesn't collect too much from the same area, so he tries to diversify it.
Almost less taking from your area, more
Yeah.
thinning out the top layer of the entire thing.
And then he's making sure that he takes the one that has some shine to it, the little sparkles.
Well, if you want to inspect the sand, now is the time as you are winding down for a sleep.
I think after I got a whole bucket of it,
Yeah,
that's when I'll...
you have a bucket which has a pretty good amount of the sand. Now, you couldn't take as much as you wanted as you scoop up a section and immediately see that you're looking at dirt. And you're like, oh, put some of that back. Interestingly enough, though, underneath the sand, you see grass that has obviously been kind of smothered, but that is unblighted.
Interesting. Yeah.
So,
Well,
you kind of recover that little section back up and then have a moment to look at the sand. If you're wanting to look at it, can you give me... I'm trying to think. Can I... Actually, I'll...
what are you cooking, by the way?
It's probably just going to be like...
She's making borscht.
No, it's not. It's probably just going to be like a rice and vegetable
A
bowl.
grilled cheese.
You give me either
What is it? What is
an
it?
alchemist tool check or a
What does it give?
tinkerer's tool check.
Healing?
No, it's just
Or sorry,
food.
alchemist or
Right.
blacksmith.
Well,
This isn't Breath of the Wild.
Either-
it's interesting that you
either
are making that.
works.
However, believe it or not, I've got a bit of a chef background, so maybe I could help her out. And
Don't listen to him. He don't know what he's talking
Actually,
DM, can I help someone with my chef trait?
oh, with your chef trait, you can help Arya cook, and then that will actually give a mechanical benefit as well. Because you have the chef feat.
Yeah, that one trait. I don't know. With 1 hour of 1 hour of work, when you finish a long rest, you can cook 3 treats. These treats last 8 hours after being made. A creature can use a bonus action to eat one and gain 3 temporary hit points.
Oh.
So
That's more helpful than
you
Victor.
two
So
start
we just
cooking
make a
up.
little more.
And I'll
We'll make
say-
the original meal for everyone, and then the little treats as
And I'll
well.
say you make those treats so where like they would finish in the morning, so that your 8 hours of treat isn't
Yes.
used up overnight. It's instead the next day.
Yeah.
So you start shoving those up using your chef trait to actually make things that will provide a little bit of actual benefit and aid the next day instead of just being a wonderful meal to fill your belly. Kai, what'd you get?
Moral support, man.
I'm saying fills the belly. I like to imagine they're just like his are just the worst tasting thing ever, but they're like full of herbs and stuff that actually help you.
Yeah, and then Arya's is just like comfort food.
Yeah.
I am going to use Flash of Genius for this.
Okay.
This will be a 17.
17. 17 definitely helps with a flash of genius. Looking at the sand and seeing, especially from what you've seen before, that there are like these speckles inside of it. You do your best to kind of like sift it apart and separate it to the point where you do have just a pile of sand that as you look at it is completely mundane. It almost seems like filler material, if anything. But when you separate out the speckles, what you actually find is there are 2 different things in there. It is entirely mundane, not magical. Especially with a 17 on your check, you barely manage to kind of pull out the idea that what you're looking at is essentially pulverized lead and pulverized silver that have been powdered and mixed into the sand.
Okay.
And Pygmaeus ate that.
Essentially, you've separated this mixture into 3 parts.
That's
That
not a
is
thing back then.
1/2 sand,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
quarter pulverized lead, and a quarter pulverized silver that were all mixed together and then kind of dumped onto the ground.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think as he's trying to figure this out, if Valdo isn't asleep yet, he'll tell Valdo that I've noticed that this thing is the little sparkly thing. It's lead and sand that has been grinded.
Fuck! Lead, sand,
I
and
ate that.
silver.
And silver. Sorry.
Calm down, you didn't need enough.
That's true. The dosage is the poison.
That metallic taste you were getting earlier makes a bit more sense now.
Oh, that's
Is there
rather
asbestos in
interesting.
here?
No.
And then I think he'll pull out a couple of lead coins, and he says, "They might not be far off, huh? I always believe in this, but just in case."
Yeah, but I mean, all the vials I gave you, if you remember, they were sealed with lead. Lead corks. So that's what kept the blight in. I mean,
Now,
glass will do just fine, but
you didn't note, or it is of note that most vials inside the academy do have lead corks, mostly because they are just anti-magic in general. So like any spells or spell components contained within them would be safe from the exterior world. So you kind of had standard issue vials, but those lead corks did seem to kind of help contain the blight.
I imagine she probably turned it upside down and the blight was like,
You have carry around these lead coins as a blight warden. Most of you all have seen it, at least in passing to some degree, or have read about it. Maybe not you as much, Arya. But most of you guys know that it's kind of a superstitious thing to put lead coins on people's eyes when they pass, much like the stories of old of putting gold coins on people's eyes. As kind of a way of, when you put lead coins on people's eyes, it's a way of saying, may you rest easy, may the blight never find you.
Yeah, Arya would never have heard of that ever.
well, that's mighty interesting. I mean, lead is an anti-magic property, and I've been we know that you can remove the blight like you could remove a curse. I mean, it takes levels and all that. It is not as effective, but that's good to know.
Silver is also something that is often used for things that can change their shape.
Yeah, I know that one. As a dryadologist, she would know there are many forms of the Fae that are. They don't like silver.
They hate silver. Yeah.
They can hate silver.
Especially
the Fae don't like iron.
True.
They don't like lead because they're all.
A lot of them are shape changers or like inherently magical to some degree.
I've got some spells where if I'm wearing silver on me, I straight up can't cast them because I like alter self if I'm wearing any silver. Silver in my pocket's probably fine, but if I got silver jewelry on it just doesn't cast. So that's interesting. So it's like we.
Now, can you two also give me, and actually anyone except for probably Arya, can give me a history check as well, after having heard this conversation all within the Liamon's tiny hut.
History?
Can I roll 4 die and then just choose the best one?
No. That is not how that works. That'd be like super ultra advantage.
I feel like Arya just like has a standard of nat 1 in any history roll.
Yeah. Categorically just bad across the board.
Yeah.
16.
You need to start
16.
rolling your dice.
No.
Oh, I also have a 16.
7.
Unless
Unfortunately.
this could be an Arcana
12.
thing.
Yeah.
and
I will
can
say-
take it higher.
Now, you two know that the use of silver, especially as a researcher and as someone who's dealt with it, is like traditionally anti-shape changer, as previously mentioned. But you two specifically also know of these tales that things like lycanthropy, like other curses of this nature, are also specifically harmed by silver. Now, you don't know what exactly this mixture does to the blight, but at the very least, you've seen it repel it.
Yeah.
So you, especially in your time traveling and being in the church, know that like it's a general thing that clerics tend to keep at least some amount of silver on them, in case
That's why she has her rings.
Yes, lycanthropes or other curses befall someone.
Okay, so here's. I want you to correct me if this is going to be a thing that's going to be very wrong. Valdov knows that it has, to an extent, some level of hive mind, some level of discernment. When it's not in the hive mind, it can kind of communicate with each other, which, and she has had it suggested it's extraplanar. She also knows that it is responding to things that are anti-magic and shape change or curse. Now, both magic and physical items
Yes.
together. Valdov, her assumption, based on her research into things like the Shadow Court, the High Courts, is immediately assuming that there is something from another plane attempting to, now this is a pretty broad assumption, take over, and specifically, this is from a plane like, she doesn't have that much research into the things, but she would have, if this was a Fae, she would attribute it to the Shadow Court.
Okay.
Because they would, she knows it's not, but she's going to attribute it essentially to the Shadow Court because it is not an inherently evil thing, but does evil things in order to better itself. So it is following, she knows from some of the stuff, that it is following the magic. And not inherently because it wants to destroy the world or destroy all magic, but because this thing is looking for something and it is hungry.
Okay.
So that is her assumption here.
I will say
As one is.
it's a hypothesis. Only time will tell.
Okay. So she is going to say all of that. She's going to say that it seems less like its own entity and more like something from another plane is putting up feelers. And in doing so is expending a lot of energy and is following the things that it can eat, like magic, to take that back.
I think Kai will also start into a bit of conspiracy that he believes, which he tried to say before, but had to like calm down a bit. But now that you're talking about this being from like another plane of existence and stuff, Kai, as in with a lot of sailors, are very, very superstitious and they're very fearful of things that are more powerful than them because that's just how the ocean is. He fully divulged and believed that when he said that this was a punishment, it's not a punishment from the gods, it's a punishment onto the gods that was done onto their creation because of how they have manipulated the weave and magic, and that he believes that this thing is coming from a force older and more primordial than the gods themselves. And then when you I think he says it in a way that's very poetic. Thing like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner type of that very poetic rhythmic style of just this is what he believes.
I have to ask, how does Arya react to that? It's kind of like
Arya the
over in
Chthonic
the corner
tiefling.
with Pygmaeus, like chefing up, just
She didn't seem very interested at all when Valdove was speaking. Almost as if she had when somebody's already come to a conclusion about something and you can't change their mind, whatever you do.
you're like, yeah.
And then as soon as Kai starts speaking, she starts looking over every once in a while to be a part of the conversation.
I think Valdove's response to that is she's going to sit and think a minute and you can kind of see her ears twitching like she's listening to different arguments in her head, like she's sitting at a conference table and she goes, that's an interesting theory. I think I think what you're suggesting is this is one of the old gods and that it is upset with these new ones and with like the Morrigan coming to punish the gods of war about starting fights among humans, except this would be weave manipulation. So it one must imagine Prometheus is effectively what she's saying.
I mean, Prometheus Tower is where y'all heading.
True.
Yeah.
So, as you are saying this and you are cooking Arya, I will say that as much as you've tried to push the thoughts out, you can't help but hear the leaders of your faith in your head over and over, repeating their lessons as they called them, and can't help but hearing similarities in the way that Kai is speaking. How that makes you feel is up to you, but you can't push the thoughts out of your head.
It's almost like Pygmaeus has really, really high perception, right?
Passive perception, the highest is actually Natalia.
Oh, okay.
Then followed by Pygmaeus with only one lower.
Okay. Because, I imagine
So it's, those two.
over
the
the course
perceptions.
of the conversation, listening to Valdove, right, Arya's hands are kind of like they do the motions, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. There's no, feeling or, thought really behind it.
It's almost like someone's sleepwalking.
Yeah. And then as soon as Kai starts talking, it's almost as if she is brought forward and is consciously thinking about the things that she is doing again.
I will say, Natalia, you were probably a little too distracted to notice all this. Pygmaeus being right next to Arya, especially cooking alongside her, you definitely kind of notice this, her coming in and out.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you to this. Now remember, stir, and then once it gets all thick and soupy, leave it be, and in the morning we'll chow in some grub, or at least three of us will, and the rest can fuck off.
I understand.
Okay. You finish up the normal meal you are
She'll
making.
start to plate them in different bowls and carry them all over,
Yeah.
waitress style.
As everyone is receiving their food that Arya so graciously made, you guys start eating.
Is this vegan?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is the most filling thing you guys have had in a minute, considering that rations have kind of been what you guys have been snacking on throughout the day. It's what you ate for lunch. You guys,
Considering somebody's been in a jail.
yes, especially you, Natalia. Everyone's had rations right now, but they probably ate fine back home. You've been eating gruel, and so having this meal from Arya, it's warm,
It's
it's
sauteed
wonderful.
seasoned vegetables
Yeah.
and the rice bowl, right?
It is just delicious, and all of you feel that kind of warmth settle into your stomachs and your chests as you are the tiredness, especially those of you with any level of blight, can feel the fatigue really wearing on you to the point where you feel moments away from just passing out.
If any of you are considerably more tired and need more cushion on your bedrolls, I am more than willing to give up some of mine. I have extra fabric.
Thank you. That's
Such
all right.
idea.
I'm quite used to the cot.
But I brought my own cushions. And Pygmaeus, in his backpack, brings out a bunch of like palm leaves and sticks and makes his little bedding.
I appreciate that you still look like a human at this point. Yeah. Like you still have your hat on, so we're all just watching you pull out sticks and like.
He's just a guy pulling up
And
palm
just,
leaves.
yeah, what's going on? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Druids.
Totally normal human thing to do.
Yeah. Well,
You all do see everyone else laying out like soft bedrolls or like cushioned things, and Pygmaeus puts out sticks and palm leaves.
what do you think I'm gonna lay on this
Sand.
Yeah.
I forgot PR training. I can't say that word. This blighted land. I'm going to
Valda,
stay on
the other hand,
mother's little cushions.
is fully just burrowing into the sand like a little jackrabbit and going to sleep.
So
No bedroll.
you kind of
Just
like
land.
burrow in, get to bed.
Kai, would you be willing to sleep on the opposite side of the hut as me? That way we have everything covered.
Valdove. When you are digging into the sand to get kind of a little area for yourself, trying to set up, you are like pushing bits of it aside and you feel something more like together, and you kind of like reach into the sand just a little bit and pull out a piece of paper.
Damn!
We got another one.
Okay, wait. I want to write this down.
I love it when flavor text does that.
As you are doing that, you two are also settling down for bed. I'm assuming just a bedroll for each of you.
Yeah, Kai says, I would offer to create some more cushion for you guys if you want, but unfortunately I used my last two, and I point towards my bird and my mule, who I used my Tinker's magic to create little bedrolls for them. So the bird has like this little tiny bedrolls that it's sleeping on, and it has
The bird fully just
Tucked in, birds tuckered out.
yeah, the mules usually sleep on their like stomach, right? But this one also sleeps on the back.
the balloon's rolling onto the front of it like this. Yeah.
Is he recharging or is
Tucked
he like?
in, looking
is he plugged
cute.
in? Is he recharging or is he?
He doesn't need to sleep. He just likes to be part of the
he wants
group.
He wants to role play. Right. Well, Pygmaeus goes to his little corner and puts his staff against what I'm assuming is a solid wall, even though it's see-through.
I think it's solid unless you wish to pass through it, is how I imagine Lehman's tiny hut works. Because you guys can pass in and out completely fine.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a
go
doorway.
out, no, you can just walk out. When you go out, it becomes opaque, and what it looks like, because I didn't get to describe this, what it looks like is it's. Faldef has a very creative imagination, and so while most people pick one opaque color, you in fact see what she imagines the Feywild to look like, as it kind of looks like a children's mural in like a
Like a
preschool
bit of a
classroom.
tapestry.
Oh, cute.
Okay.
So,
I thought it was gonna be
but
like
yeah,
a
you can lean
disco
against the
ball.
wall if you like.
Oh, poggers. Okay. Not gonna lie, that one just kind of it's part of the vocab, you know.
That's Pygmaeus' favorite word.
The poggers.
So,
So Faldef,
as Valdo is like shifting and finds that you are all laying down, both your companions are in their bedrolls. You're kind of tidying up. Everyone at this point has kind of gotten into their bedrolls and is settled down. Valdo, I assume you dim the lights before you find this thing underneath you.
so she finds this letter. She's like, she does break it and then realizes it's dim light and she can only kind of see it.
You're like,
And then she puts it away for the night. She's going to share it in the morning.
so you head to bed. As you all start making your way to bed, the night is around you and you guys can see it outside the walls, but because of that shimmer, you all know you are in relative safety. Feel like there's no need for a watch, as at least for the most part, there is a literal dome that protects you all. And that lasts for 8 hours, I believe. So the full duration of
And
your
the
long
horses are right outside the dome, right?
Oh,
They can fit in the dome if you'd like.
so the dome.
The carriage does have to be outside the dome.
Yeah.
But the horses could probably fit in. It would just make you all squeeze tighter.
Yeah.
But right now, you can see they're kind of like also sleeping just outside the dome, like literally maybe a foot away from it.
Okay.
So the dome also, it has a feature where Valdov can adjust it to be always a comfortable atmosphere. So the problem for everyone else is that she's a jackrabbit and she really likes the desert, so it's a little bit hot. It's not too hot for everybody else. She is being mindful that there are other people here, but it's like warm.
Arya is completely covered from head to toe at all times.
So
Well, not toe.
True.
Bare feet.
Head
Head
to
to ankle.
ankle.
Head to ankle.
Even world sleep. All right.
Gotta let the dogs out.
What do you mean? Even don't say let the dogs out. It's a religious practice.
The dogs gotta breathe,
It's a
man. They
religious
gotta breathe.
practice.
They want to touch the earth.
It has
So-
nothing to do with that.
You all get to bed. As sleep falls over you, the feeling of exhaustion coming in, or like kind of pushing you all to bed. Those of you with levels of blight may re-roll the save at the current level you are at.
Okay.
You will not roll this with disadvantage by any means. So, for example, you're at level 2, so you'll roll another strength save. Should you succeed it, you will knock off that level of blight. This is your body not automatically winning against the blight, but
Yeah.
more so fighting back in the time you have to
Can I
rest.
have a good dice? I don't fucking.
Do I use one of mine?
This is your soul attempting to cleanse itself while you
Yeah.
I have a
sleep.
yellow one.
Well, I should have chosen.
Is that cheese?
No, it's just yellow.
Okay, are we rolling the blight save at disadvantage or normal?
Normal. So you're at 1, Valdove,
Yes.
so you will make a con save. You'll make a con save, and then Pygmaeus will make a strength save. Are you at 2?
I
No,
really
I'm
don't
at
like
1.
this.
Can I add the bardic?
Yes, you can have the bardic. That is why we said that.
I was
like,
trying to be smart.
Mr.
There you
Man,
go. Yes.
if I succeeded, what do I do next?
You go down to 1.
Now,
You,
can I-
you get rid of a level of blight.
Can I go again?
No,
Why not?
you only get 1 per rest.
Well,
So-
I'm not ready for this.
Dirty 20.
So you go back down to 0 as the night comes, and your soul has fought off the curse before. You've spiritually cleansed it before, not in a religious manner, but more so just kind of focusing in on expunging that energy from yourself. And especially as you sleep, the kind of tip of your ear that was cut off twitches just a little bit, and you feel as you wake up the next day, not yet, but you wake up the next day kind of a little bit healthier. You are back down to 0. What'd you get?
A 15?
15 barely fails, meaning
Yeah,
that you
see,
remain
it's not
at level 1.
It's not gonna do it.
Oh, Rickers!
16.
17 succeeds, so you go back down to level 1.
No, 16, not 17.
Oh, 16 still succeeds, so you go down to level
Yes.
1.
Yes, I got a got a 9.
So you stay at level 2.
Yeah, I figured.
Gosh darn. Darn. I thought I was being smart.
Who almost succeeded?
With a 15.
This is in your sleep, you will not be able to
Yeah.
flash of genius.
Yeah. Dang.
So, you guys
Kinda cool if you
rest
could.
overnight. For some of you, it is not an easy one. For those of you who are still at level 1 of Blight, the exhaustion of the day, not only from just simply traveling so far and having to fight your way through the gnarly forest, but the levels of Blight really sink into your system. Pygmaeus, you were lucky enough to push yourself back down from 2 to 1, kind of fighting against the
Lucky?
fighting against the constitution, or like the strength that you're summoning up the strength that your body needs.
I'm sorry,
Skill.
that was a con save, right?
For you, it was a con save.
Oh my god, I didn't add my modifier.
Okay, what is it?
Yippee! So I have a +4 for my modifier,
Okay.
I had a 5 on the bardic, and a 9 on the dice.
So you go back down to 0 then. So you're
Guys,
good.
I know how to play this game, I swear.
So you are good. You go back down to 0 for Pygmaeus. Overnight, as you are resting, whatever dreams may come your way, at some point they kind of fade into the darkness of your mind, your consciousness swimming with many thoughts of various events that have happened so far. And amongst all of that, you just kind of hear,
Hello? Oh, a road.
you hear that in your head kind of echoing, jumping around your mind. It's the same kind of like that kind of sound that you heard from the blight earlier at the farmstead.
This is in my dream.
This is in your dreams. For you, Kai, still at level 2. Normally I would just message this to you, but we have no means to privately communicate. Actually, I do. Give me a moment. You all may discuss amongst yourselves while I write something out for Kai.
Nothing could possibly go wrong with this.
No. You're still at level 1, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because you got back down, and you're at level 1.
No, I actually passed.
Oh,
I
you
just,
passed.
I don't.
Okay. You don't know how to math? That's
I don't
okay. So we've got 3 party members at 0,
I forgot
1
my
at 1, and 1 at 2.
Chafing throw has a
Okay,
modifier.
cool.
No, not cool.
I'm going to blame the fact that y'all didn't get all the way to 0 on the fact that Valdov keeps it hot. I am going to. This is real fact. The house that I'm staying at right now my grandparents' house. They are old and they live in a hot part of Texas, and you would think, oh, they must keep their house a decent temperature. Wrong. 78.
Aw.
Where does the no go?
So
It just says, do I like you, yes or yes? I mean,
circle
no.
or.
I will say you hear that
You wanna
in
be
the
my
same
girlfriend?
kind of
Smile.
raspy, pulled tone. You hear it over and over again, racking into your mind. Almost not like you're hearing the words yourself, but like you're hearing something speak to itself. Almost gone mad, trying to pull the thoughts together as best it can. And as those words echo in your mind, you, amongst your sleep, shoot awake, sweating.
Sorry.
And even though all the others are still well in their rest, you look out the sides of the tiny hut and you see somewhere in the distance, not necessarily by sight, but by feel, know there are things out there watching you.
Oh God.
Have you put the paper away?
Eventually,
It's
all
folded
of
again.
you
Yes.
wake back up the next morning. Kai, you manage to put yourself back to sleep just barely and uneasily. The rest of you wake up completely fine.
I think when Valdov wakes up, the first thing
Okay.
she does in the light is break the seal and read this.
So I will
Yes or
say,
no?
actually, yes. The
He
first,
loves me.
the first thing that you all notice when you come to is kind of like waking up. I'll say, who realistically would wake up first? Do you think? Probably you. You kind of wake up, rub your eyes, look over, and you're looking around. You don't see Pygmaeus anywhere. But over on the bundle of palm leaves and sticks, what you see is a full orangutan, currently like head in hands, like
Actually,
with the.
his favorite way to sleep is interlocked behind his head
Yeah,
with
it's like-
his legs crossed.
yeah.
that tracks.
But you do see an orangutan with the same shade of ginger hair that Pygmaeus normally has.
Importantly, is the fez on his head or off
The
to the
fez
side?
is like tipped off to the side on the ground next to him.
Valdov is going to use the cantrip Mage Hand to grab it.
You grab the fez by like its little yellow string, kind of pull it to yourself. At this point, I'll say the rest of you start coming to as you guys can start hearing. Actually, I'll say you come to first, Kai.
Oh, interesting.
having slept uneasily. Your sleep is not that deep, and so when you hear the rustling of Valdov, you are awoken only moments later by the rest of you.
And can Valdov put the fez on to read this?
I think, yeah.
So you put the fez on, slots onto your head, nothing really happens.
Well, now she's wearing the hat and she's reading this, and anyone who's looking at her is going to see
Well-
she doesn't seem.
They're still all waking up, so you come to see the orangutan, and then you all wake up with Pygmaeus. Pygmaeus, you like rub your eyes and look down and see your orangutan hands before you.
I will add as
Oh,
Natalia
shit.
wakes up and she looks over. What the gods?
All right, well,
What is that?
I fucking knew it. I knew you were human.
what happened?
Can we come back to this later? I've got to take a massive shit.
You did it last night.
If it's been 8 hours, Liam's tiny hut is now gone.
So yeah, at this point, as you guys are waking up and like kind of brushing yourself off and getting ready for the day, the tiny hut kind of and vanishes.
I'm going to. Pygmaeus grabs his staff just before it falls, and he waddles down the path with his staff. Now, not massively, but just way larger than him.
Yeah.
He kind of disappears.
Yeah, he does like you previously Pygmaeus was like holding the stick maybe like 3/4 the way up and like walking. He was a crazy tall person to begin with, but now you do see the incredibly long orangutan arm is like holding the staff up here while his body is down here.
Oh God.
So you guys see a orangutan with Pygmaeus' voice, clearly Pygmaeus at this point, waddle down the path to go to the restroom as the rest of you are waking up, and you all see Valdov currently holding like what looks like a letter.
More important question before that.
Yes.
Do you think Arya knows what an orangutan is?
You've probably seen like a storybook.
Okay.
Children's book and all that.
Like you didn't know if they were real or if they were like a made up creature, like not like a dragon in this
Well,
world.
yeah, I was gonna say.
I guess there's nothing I can say that is made up, but you didn't know if it was a real creature. Yeah, you didn't know if it was a like real thing or if it was just a thing in the storybooks, but you're now seeing one in real life.
Yeah.
I see.
It'd be like if you in real life saw a unicorn just kind of casually walking down the road.
I see.
I'm going to say, Valdiv is a little preoccupied with what she's reading. She's reading it again. She read it as everyone was waking up, and that's why she caught Pygmaeus late. But she's initially really interested, and then kind of like, oh, that makes sense, and she kind of moves her thumb, because she had been holding it in a weird spot. She does a double take. Because this letter that says that the Blight has been ravaging our lands for going on 9 years now bears the same seal as the 2 we've gotten from Finn. Now, one of which is from Arya, getting the reward flyer, one of which is the one he handed us in the tavern.
That Natalia has.
Now, I will say 9 years of blight indicates that it was roughly 11 years ago.
So she's like, oh, wow. There were adventurers that did this before, like more than a decade ago when the Blight had only been ravaging the lands for 9 years. This person was like, he was telling you that the path is important, and they were making their way to Elred, and they had the recipe for the sand, which we kind of worked out last night. It is like we thought. It's the sand and lead powder and silver powder. And he left a sample vial, which I guess the adventurers must have taken.
You feel a knock on your hat, and as it knocks down, Pygmaeus with his staff catches it and puts it on. And as he's walking from behind you to the front, you see him kind of grow in size, and all those features and hairs kind of
That's
back
weird.
in. And he says, "Give me that."
I was gonna say, it's Finn's seal.
Adventurers, thank you for taking up this difficult task. As you know, the Blight has ravaged our lands going on 9 years now. It has
That's what
taken
I
more than
said.
anyone could ever predict. It must be stopped at any cost. The path ahead will not be easy, but I assure you it is necessary. Tread carefully, and the cautions of powerful magic, says the Blight, will see.
It seeks out the intense use of the weave.
Keep the vials I gave you close. There should be a path laid out. About Safeton, but beyond that, you half sand, a quarter lead powder, a quarter silver powder. This is not.
Yeah,
Reference the sample file in the case. Hey, you stole my fizz. I get to steal this.
it has
It's
Finn's
correct.
seal.
It is foremost important. Thank you for your work, and may the gods shine on their mercy on you. You will need it. Oh my goodness! It's got the seal. Look.
The thing is,
Look,
Finn sent out
from
this
Finn.
mission
That's what I'm saying.
11 years ago. We're being sent on a suicide mission part 2.
Are we some kind of?
I think we've been hoodwinked.
Now,
Natalia would pull out the other letter and she'd walk up to Pygmaeus. May I?
Yes, here you go. Psych.
Wait,
Now listen.
Now, as you two are doing this, and having seen the seal more often, you do recognize it to be at least the same one that was previously on the letters, and having them to compare. I think that as you're looking at it, specifically for you two, you start to recognize that symbol as a print, something has been stamped on research papers in the academy. Now, you knew Finn was a researcher. Hey, it actually fell perfectly. Now, you knew. Watch it. Now,
That's
you
my
knew
job.
you knew Finn was a researcher, but you didn't remember exactly what his papers were over. You've seen that stamp before, and you know that there are papers inside the academy or the institute that date as far back as like 30 years.
that's almost as old as I am.
Now, I will note that similar to what you all had seen in the previous letter, the letter essentially tells them to continue on to Elred. You all are also being sent there, but to find Aurora in this instance. This is not about laying sand or laying paths. This is about finding a person out there, that they would have all the information you all would need.
I don't think it's necessarily that they were sent on the same mission as us. It seems like their mission was to lay the path for us.
I mean,
Well, I mean, suicide mission might not be far off after what we encountered.
No,
I think this was an entirely different
may
idea.
I read it?
Yes.
My question then, and therefore, is that they laid these paths that are so highly effective. Now, we can't make too much, they're expensive, but hell, we didn't even know about them until we were on them. And we don't know who made these.
Well, obviously
Why?
those adventures made them.
Yeah, why don't we know about the paths, about who laid them? Why do they only go this far? They have
These paths go to Elred. At least was what Larry's saying is that at the time they only went to Safeton. You've been told now that the paths go all the way to Elred.
Elred is our final
Is
destination.
not your final destination, but it's the furthest outpost that you guys can get to safely.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because we're
And
trying to
then-
get to Prometheus Tower.
Which is beyond Elred.
Which is beyond Elred.
In the same direction.
in the
though.
mountains.
It's a little bit, if you look on the map, Elred is south of you, and then the Prometheus Tower and the Lort Mill Mountains are to the west of that. So you'll have to go down to Elred and then west from there. Make sure not to pass in front of the camera.
I know.
There you go.
I'm very careful.
Valdove seems furious.
Valdov is not pleased. This is the kind of research that you don't get to hide from people, is what I'm saying.
Well, if everybody knew about it, everybody would be on the paths. People would be taking the sound from the paths, thinking that they could take it to cure people. If they lay somebody completely under the sand, maybe it'll cure the blight. It seems like it's the type of research that if everybody knew about, it'd make it harder.
What I'm saying is, if this was the kind of research that hadn't been guarded so heavily, we might have more paths and more barriers that are effective like this, and we might have been able to save more towns.
And so people who know nothing about anything would go out and get blighted? If the people think it's safe to travel, then they're going to travel.
I mean, yeah, Holly has a point here where, yes, it's relative safety, but even you all have seen that staying on the path does not secure you a one-way ticket to your destination. So as you are reading this, and as Pygmace is looking over the map, kind of not knowing down where you guys are heading, what are you all doing as you guys get ready for the day? At this point, the sun has come over the horizon. It is dawn at this point. The light is shining over the area. Overnight, you did see, Valdove, or at least you've noticed, being the one that cast it, that all the blight that had been kind of like in buildings and surrounding you all has like pulled in to attempt to get to your tiny hut, but it has been stopped by the sand for the most part. There are still some tendrils that you can see made their way onto the sand and have kind of like shriveled away, but for the most part, they're all reaching out in the direction of your tiny hut, but none made it.
I think we need to go.
Real quick, I take some sand in my hand, like a big handful,
Yeah, just a handful.
and then just throw it at the blight. What happens?
As soon as you throw it at the blight, what you notice is that it's not quite as effective as you would wish it would be, as it's less so like you're covering it. Its sand is naturally going to fall to the wayside. But when it hits the blight initially, you hear like a, and it kind of retracts for a moment before the sand settles into the ground and just kind of makes its way around the speckles that are on the ground, returning back to its original position. It does not seem to completely get rid of it because, at least for a mixture like this that is so fine, it barely lays on the ground. You can't really like sprinkle it on top of something effectively.
Nice.
But it did not seem to like it.
It acts like it is getting, you know, when you are cooking and with the hot oil and it splashes up onto your hand and you instinctively pull away?
Like it's being burned.
Yes.
That's a great way to put it.
It's being fried.
So,
I think Valdov, after the discussion and what she read about the magic that in the letter, and she's very much lost in thought. And as you know, as Yuna expression as a Harangon face is, typically leaning more towards fearful. She really more looks somewhere between angry and deeply sad about something.
as much as you are angry and sad, there's a little bit of, in the back of both of y'all's minds that can't help but be kind of like, you can feel the gears in your own heads turning as you start to uncover more and more and kind of piece together some of the pieces of the puzzle, some of that scientific curiosity amongst all the anger and the sadness kind of clicks somewhere. For you all, Kai's woken up in an uneasy way. I will say no one really has a passive insight to just notice that, but when Kai is coming to in the morning and you all are packing your stuff and getting ready to head back out, what is he doing?
I think what is most evident for everyone else is that the bird, which usually flies around him and not on top of him, you see the bird's like on his shoulders and actively like almost caressing it with his beak and stuff. And I think it's pretty obvious that it looks like the bird is trying to calm him down. And so he does things just as usual. He seems a bit chipper, a bit like jovial in a sense. But you have also seen him near death, and you have noticed that he gets more jovial the closer he is to like something that scares him.
I will say, does the fact that the uncovering of this letter, right? The fact that it is from Finn and he is saying to lay out this path, doesn't that give more credibility to the claim that he could cure the blight? If he has already set up these things that can create a sort of safe haven?
See, that's part of what's bothering me, is that, well, now we know he has some kind of a solution. He's had some kind of a solution for more than a decade. And I don't actually know what's going on with his research. I'm not particularly familiar with it. You know, I've been doing my own, but he's had a temporary fix. And in research, the jump from a temporary fix to a permanent fix is sometimes a big one, but, you know, you have to start with the little fixes. And he safeguarded this so hard that we've lost countless people, and he has told no one and done next to nothing. I think I would have been less upset if the paths had connected all the way to Greyhawk than finding them starting in the middle of the gnarly forest. And they do connect to Elred. That's helpful to us. I'm not sure how to feel about that, but we have so many people living in this just desolation and looking for hope anywhere they can. And it's like putting people in the dark and in blindfolds. He had a match. He didn't light it.
So, on that note, as you all are kind of
Also,
finishing up,
we took that job for 2,500 gold, silver, whatever the fuck. And he lied to us, and I specifically asked him, is there something that we should know? And he was like, no, not really.
He also did that.
And
He didn't warn none of us about that.
you helped him too, in my opinion.
Well,
I think as you guys are...
Natalia kind of giggle at all of that and look off to the side and shake her head. But
You guys are bringing up your stuff. You guys are getting ready for the day, loading up the carriage, making sure that you're double checking out your equipment and have everything in hand. Kai, that uneasy feeling that you already had, that you're doing your best to get over. You're packing up your stuff, and from behind you, just as you were kind of feeling a little bit better, you look backwards, the sun illuminating the area around you with just enough light, the orange dawn before you kind of creating this shine on the ground. You notice that the path leading into Safeton is not as it was last night. When you look backwards in its direction, you see that sections of blight have kind of overtaken much of the path that comes into Safeton, and have much of that has kind of since you seeing clearly shriveled, died, or weakened to some degree. But in whatever it was trying to do in the last moments it had, it eradicated the path. At least enough of it to where it will be hard to return in the current state.
The sandy path?
The sandy path. The blight seems to have been smart enough to, even though it would cost itself something, remove you all's exit. And you get a sense that it wants you to know that.
How wide?
Pretty big. On that note, as you guys are finishing up, and Kai, you take that last glance backwards, realizing that your path here, while not gone, is not as easy to return to. You're going to wrap up the episode there and kind of finish up at the end of episode 3 with you all getting ready to disembark from Safeton. At this point, unsure, but likely towards Elred, or at least your next destination. From there, who knows what you all will find. At the very least, you know you are looking for Aurora. So, we'll pick up there next time. Thank you all so much for watching. That's been episode 3 of Project Crit. We'll see you all next time.